A lot of people hate me for what I say. They have absolutely no personal equations with me whatsoever. So it's not as if I've done any personal harm or good for them to form an opinion one way or the other. So clearly, what are they hating? What I represent or what I stand for, at least what I claim to stand for. I would apply that logic to a significant extent to Mr. Modi. Most people don't know Mr. Modi on a first hand basis. So, what is it that they are hoping, or what is it that they are actually channeling their anger towards? He, according to them, represents the crystallization of Hindutva at the highest level possible, political Hindutva, which is to say, where state power is openly Hindu. Allow me to say this, and this is my biggest criticism both of the left as well as the government establishment. They are, first of all, not Hindu enough. These guys have made them look Hindu thanks to their criticism.
So first he said, everybody hates him for what he stands for. Then he conflated it to include Mr. Modi somehow and said that is exactly why people hate Narendra Modi also, because nobody knows him personally. And then he went on to essentially talk about how the BJP is not right enough for him.
The prefacing of why people hate him, he initially said, "Hey, I don't know anyone personally." He didn't need to say that at all. Like, nobody. See, I've never met either of you personally. What I don't like about you, if I don't like something about you, is obviously going to be whatever you represent. So, him actually saying that, I felt was redundant.
It's not like everybody is meeting Jay Sai Deepak in person. वैसे ही nobody knows Narendra Modi because he's the freaking prime minister, man. I mean, how many people know him personally? 50 people know him personally in the entire universe. So can we not have any opinion on him at all?
I receive messages about Jay Sai Deepak from people, and it's primarily two types of people, and neither of them actually hate him. Right? One group is like, hey, what's your opinion about this guy? He said this. And the other group is, why don't you debate Jay Sai Deepak? For the second answer is like, why he didn't come to me? You came to me. You're here. I'm here. Let's talk. Why are you organizing a debate with a third person? And secondly, this thing about why people hate me because of what I stand for is a rather hackneyed, because we see this all the time. You call someone out for something and they say Hinduo par hamla या मुसलमानों पर हमला. Instantly, one person, in order to defend himself, becomes the entire category that he represents. No one is the entire thing that they represent. Jay Deepak's actions are visible. Narendra Modi's actions are visible. It's not like they're hypothetical entities in our head. We see the government passing laws, the Prime Minister is held responsible for it. We see Jay Deepak say something, he will be held responsible for it. He'll at least get some feedback about it, right? So I don't understand their obsession with why are people hating me so much. You see this with Americans already. Why does the world hate us? Because we are so powerful. We saw this with that vlogger who made that thing about Yagya's flying beast guy. People gave feedback saying, hey, this is stupid. He said, you look, they're just jealous of my huge subscriber base. Like completely bypassing the actual reason and settling on something else entirely.
This is my biggest criticism both of the left as well as the government establishment. They are, first of all, not Hindu enough. Look Hindu thanks to their criticism. Because the question that you should be asking is, if a particular government is either pro or anti, the test is what? Policy. What has it done?
Pro anti Hindu.
Correct. So you should ask a question. The question is, what has it done for Hindus to say that he's pro-Hindu? What has he done against Muslims for someone to say he's anti-Muslim? That question is never asked. So it's empty opinions
asked.
being aired in the form of angst without data or evidence.
Yeah, so that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. Because when he says that they're not Hindu enough, that is his personal opinion. There are plenty of people who think they're Hindu enough. There are plenty of people who might think that Jay Sai Deepak is not Hindu enough. There are plenty of people who might think that nobody can be Hindu enough. And it's literally the embodiment of the no true Scotsman fallacy. If you just use a vague categorization like Hindu, where is the criteria that will decide, yeah, this is Hindu enough? He's just giving his personal opinion.
Also, he spoke about data and evidence. We have lots of data and evidence for them being anti-Muslim or
Yeah.
being pro-Hindu.
Someone might say that the ruling party is sitting ministers giving hate speeches against minority religious people in favor of Hindus. Someone else is totally able to say that, no, that's going too far. And someone else might say, no, it's not going far enough. So at the end of the day, it's purely subjective. When he's talking about data and evidence, it has no meaning at all, because unless the criteria is set, how do we decide what is data and what does that data mean?
Let's say a minister goes and garlands rapists. or garlands people who were in communal riots, right? Then if there is a person who is minister who is going out and giving hate speeches, or an elected representative giving hate speeches, they are somewhat a part of the government machinery and BJP machinery, so we can still say that that is direct evidence that there are people within the BJP who have an anti-Muslim, anti-minority stand. But what usually happens is that there are more egregious cases, lynchings, cow vigilantes, there are love jihad people. So even when these politicians are just saying these things, but the people who are actually doing the deeds of violence, which are anti-Muslim, anti-minority, are like distanced people. So it's not exactly the party doing it, which conveniently gives them like this little Chinese wall for people like J-Sai Deepak to also say that, oh, no, the government is not anti-Muslim.
He does this often. There was a topic on women going to temples during periods. That's not allowed as per Hinduism. Jai Sai Deepak responded to that by saying, where is it said in scripture? That's not anywhere there in scripture. That not being there in scripture gives him the excuse to be able to say this. That's just like what he's doing here. The party people are not doing this, so that becomes an excuse for him.
What I would really be interested in finding out is what is his criteria for deciding something is Hindu or not. Is a member of a self-professed Hindutva political party giving anti-Muslim speeches, according to him, Hindu or not? Because I'm willing to accept if he says, no, that is not what Hinduism means. Because there are plenty of Hindus who will also disagree with it, right? So at the end of the day, we are talking not about any objective reality, but the personal opinion of one man who is being interviewed in this podcast because he's well known. And that's all right.
True.
But we should not make the mistake of thinking that there is something called more Hindu or less Hindu. It's just his personal opinion.
Okay, so J-Sai Deepak, guys, is a
Let us
lawyer.
stick to objective facts and data.
No,
He's a human being.
I'm going. If J-Sai Deepak ever watches this video, hello J-Sai Deepak, I'm going to give you completely anecdotal evidence right now, which is I spoke to a few of my friends and they spoke about you, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm not going to give you data. I'm not going to say who you are.
Subjective experience.
Just
You're
to annoy
giving
him.
him reasons to disregard the whole video.
Yeah, that's
he'll be
something
like-
scientist dope will say. This is Meg Nerd.
He's a very well-established, well-known lawyer in at least the Delhi circles. Someone told me that he has worked in some iconic cases. He worked on the Shreya Singhal case, which took down the 66A, the section 66A. In the recent past, he has been showing up on a lot of these podcasts, including our friend Beer Biceps podcast, and he talks of everything, but mostly about being Indic. This is the same theme that Vimo and me did a reaction video on, which is our friend Rajiv Malhotra.
Malhotra.
He never says India, he only says Bharat. You will see that throughout. Essentially, he's trying to become a public intellectual. He has written some books, which you will see pop up somewhere here or there. I will put up the books.
I'm just gonna find any place in this video where he says India, and I'm gonna be like, hey,
I
make
already
sense.
saw. I checked, Pranav. And what's the? You know what the interesting thing is? Let me just show you. He didn't use India. Only quoted Bharat.
And then the clap emoji.
See, clap emoji.
1.1k likes.
Someone has already said that. Okay.
Angst within media spreads faster.
Faster.
Any other reason?
No, so one, angst, and two, it's lazy research. It's hard work to actually pull out the data and ask some serious questions.
Okay.
Here's a simple example. There's a very popular video during the CA protests or anti-CA protests. I think this was in Mumbai. Mr. Farhan Akhtar was participating in this protest, and the journalist asked, "What is it about this legislation that you oppose? Explain." He had no clue. Not the first clue what the legislation was about. Not the first clue what it was meant to deliver. He said, "इतने सारे लोग यहाँ पे हैं, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो होगा." So he's saying, "I'm here because there are others shouting." That's exactly how communist marches used to take place in Kerala in the 60s and 70s. So a bystander near a tea stall would be drinking tea. Some idiot would be going about taking a protest march saying, "Long live revolution, Viplavam," so on and so forth. This fellow will say, "I will also join." He'll never ask the first question, "क्यों चिल्ला रहे हैं? इसकी कोई बुनियाद है? Is there a basis for it? What is my position on it? Nothing." I challenge most people who think they know anything about the CAA to tell me what the CAA is about.
Yes, we are here.
My first reaction is you go to any protest by anyone, you'll find there are people who don't know what the protest is about.
Yeah.
And if you want to understand the strongest version of the argument, you listen to people who are presenting the argument. Yogendra Yadav has made videos about CAA. You did not watch that. You decided to go by Farhan Akhtar, an actor and director who was there expressing solidarity during a protest on the ground. If you go to those so-called pro-CAA protests that were being done by members of the RSS or the BJP back when these protests were happening, I distinctly remember there being clips of someone going and asking those people, hey, what are you doing here? And they say, Modi, Modi, Modi. They also had no idea. If you are looking for a book, you go to a library. If you are looking for a cooking instrument, you go to a place that sells those things. You don't randomly point at someone, use their temporary ignorance on the matter as the foundation of your argument against the entire thing. That's lazy and, might I add, dishonest.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like using anecdotal evidence to show that alternative medicine is effective.
Yeah. I saw that clip which he's pointing out, right? And Farhan Akhtar doesn't say that I don't know anything about the law. He says that, there are so many people here, there are so many people screaming. I cannot give you many details right now, but there are people here gathered for a reason and they're angry.
That makes that clip exactly what he needs to make this kind of a silly argument.
Opposition is to raise your voice against something is absolute democratic right. Yeah, people are raising their voices, and I subscribe to the view that there seems to be a certain amount of discrimination in what has been planned and what is happening. And as a citizen of this country, and as somebody who has been born and is grown up with a certain idea of what India is, it is important for me to raise my voice.
What is the point in this bill that you don't like? What is the point in that?
Sir, I don't want to discuss details right now and scream on top of my voice and talk to you. I'll talk about this in more detail with somebody
अमित शाह का कहना है कि जो लोग इंडिया में रह रहे हैं उनको तकलीफ नहीं होगी चाहे वो कोई भी कास्ट का
बिल्कुल सर।
तो फिर प्रोटेस्ट किस बात का?
तो फिर सर आप घर चले जाइए, आप क्यों आके कवर कर रहे हैं प्रोटेस्ट को?
जो ऑलरेडी इंडिया में रह रहे हैं उनको कोई तकलीफ नहीं होगी,
जी।
उनको कोई सवाल नहीं पूछा।
हाँ, लेकिन अगर आप देखें उन डिटेल्स में तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि हो सकता है कुछ, ऐसा लगता है ना कि हो सकता है, मतलब अगर आप पढ़े कि लिखा उसमें, तो it seems like it's a possibility. And people here, why would so many people be concerned? If everything was okay, why would so many people be concerned? Not just in Mumbai, in Assam, in Delhi, in Bangalore, in Hyderabad. Why are people concerned?
He's doing a straw man and he's taking anecdotal evidence.
But also, Pranav, even if Farhan Akhtar doesn't know what is in the bill,
Yeah.
right? I
That's
feel
not
like
even the point. Yeah,
even
yeah.
still he deserves to be there. He gave that example of that Kerala fellow communist do this, which is like he sees like a march going by and then he's like, oh, I'll also join. I don't know why. But most marches are anti-establishment, right?
Yeah.
And if people are angry, they join marches. It's as simple as that.
No, even if you ask Jay Sai Deepak, you are having a march for some cause, will you set up a gateway where you make people give examinations? Ki you need to have complete knowledge about what we are protesting about in order to join it. If he says that, I'll totally be on his camp. Because I'm pretty sure that nobody does. Half the people who are doing the pro-CAA protests, a law is brought by the government. People who support the government are protesting against people who are protesting against the government. It's ridiculous in its own right.
So I spoke with Arif Hussain about CAA. You can see it on my longest podcast. It's 4 hours long. But to make it easier for you, there are timestamps, and I've clearly marked the path where we're talking about CAA. So you can just watch that for reference. I believe he made a distinction between both CAA and NRC. And I think he gave examples of people in Kerala who are Pakistanis by citizenship, who can speak Malayalam fluently, who have lived in the land for so many years. Because of this act, they would have to go back, even though they're like 90 and they're not in good health.
So that's
the thing is, I think he was making arguments in support of CAA and NRC. Of course, there will be bad examples of CAA causing difficulty to a lot of people. Doesn't mean the whole act or the overall statistical change that the act is gonna bring about is a good thing.
You know what my next question is going to be?
Yeah, sure.
Explain it.
You're such a
So
lazy
you see,
podcast. He won't even ask
CAA
his question.
has a historical context. But before I come to the long-winded historical context, I'll give the straight answer. What does it do? Obviously, for a refugee from Pakistan, Bangladesh, or Afghanistan, if they wanted to apply for citizenship in this country, there were a certain set of criteria that they had to satisfy. Cut-off dates, documents, how many years they've actually lived in Bharat for them to say that they intend to live in Bharat for the rest of their lives. That period was about 11 years. That was reduced to say you don't need to live here for 11 years to claim or ask for citizenship. That's one. And second is, it basically says in these countries, there is a marked anti-non-Muslim persecution where non-Muslim minorities don't seem to be having a great time at all. And the demographics are fast dwindling. And with each passing day, there's a serious problem. When they act on that and they come out with a CAA, the first question that people ended up asking is, will Indian Muslims be affected by it? A specific amendment to the Citizenship Act, which is meant to facilitate faster acquisition of citizenship to refugees, उसका भारतीय मुसलमानों के साथ क्या लेना देना है? Ask yourself this simple commonsensical question.
Yeah, so here is where I will pause. Does that sound like what arguments you've heard, Pranav?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, what he said aligns with what Arif
Arif
said.
says, yeah.
He basically nothing will happen to Muslims that are already Indian citizens.
Right. He's arguing in favor of CAA. But the protests were not about the CAA. They were about the CAA NRC. There is a reason why the NRC was clubbed into it. So what BJP was trying to do was that they were trying to create a Muslim filter, as I call it. The argument here is that Indian Muslims will not be affected by this act, right? Which is completely true. But what is happening is that parallelly, they were doing this exercise called the National Register of Citizens. They tried it in Assam, where they were saying that Bangladeshi immigrants who have come to India should not get the citizenship. So there was like this whole thing about a National Register for Citizens which happened in the 70s, where certain names were included which got citizenship in India. In Assam, what they have been saying is that we should go back to that register and check who are the descendants, and they should be the only people who have citizenship, because other than that, everybody is an illegal immigrant. What they were trying to do is create this NRC. They tried it, they did it for 2 years, and when the data came out, they found out that a lot of illegal immigrants ended up being included in the NRC, and a lot of even BJP supporters and Kattar Hindus ended up getting excluded from the NRC because of data entry errors. The people who were collecting the data were asking for documents to prove that their ancestors came from, they were a part of India, etc. A lot of people didn't have it, so they were not in the list. A lot of BJP people got pissed. A lot of Hindus were excluded from it. What happens is, if you do an NRC, let's imagine a nationwide NRC is done, there are many data errors that happen and people end up getting excluded. Even people like you and me end up getting excluded. The thing is, by the usage of CAA, we will immediately get our citizenship back. Because it doesn't matter, right? We are from Pakistan, Bangladesh, Afghanistan. Kuch bhi bol sakte hain.
Just apply.
How does it matter? They don't care. But who will not get the citizenship back? Muslims.
Muslims.
Because they're not in there. Also, who will not get the citizenship back? I think Vijayendra won't, because atheist. And also Jews. For some reason, they didn't include Jews also. So, if you look at this entire thing together, it is extremely sinister.
It is nobody's case that we should not accept refugees. We have always accepted refugees, and we should have a very good refugee law. But in the name of that, if you create a terribly designed piece of shit law that seems, at least on face value, to be at least a little unconstitutional because you are discriminating on the basis of religion against people, that doesn't float. And when people call out that this is stupid, you can't say, I am being discriminated against because of what I stand for. What do you stand for? Badly written laws?
How many non-Muslim but minority Hindus, etc., whoever is mentioned from those religions, how many of these from Afghanistan, Bangladesh and Pakistan have applied for Indian citizenship since 1947? Can you guess?
Is it less than 10?
No, more.
Is it less than 20?
More.
Okay, 100?
No. It's actually a decent number.
Oh,
I don't know what decent means.
Again, it's
1 lakh?
1947, okay? So it's 31,313 people, right?
Oh,
And you know how I know that? Because this
31313.
Yes, 31313, and that's why I remember it also. But also, this was actually revealed in a committee, a parliamentary committee, when this question was actually asked to the ministry, Home Ministry. Now, 31,313 people. Are you making an entire law for 31,313 people? Because those are the only ones who have applied. When Amit Shah was asked this question, ki, are you making a law for only these people? He said, no, lakhs and crores of people will benefit from this. And then people were like, how will you suddenly have lakhs of crores of people applying for CAA when from 1947 onwards there were only 31,000 people? So then he said, no, what will happen is, till now they haven't declared it. So once we pass this law, is when
People
there
will
will be
come
a host
thronging
of
into-
people.
yeah.
There will be people who will come and they'll be in lakhs and crores. Now, that
Where's the
is
data for that?
also, that's why I know, Vibho, like that is what raised my radar first, which is like, where will lakhs and crores of people come from? If an NRC is done, there will be lakhs and crores of people that will come. There will be me. Maybe I will be a part of those lakhs and crores of people because I will have no other option.
Imagine the plight of a BJP supporter who's like, yes, CAA NRC, and then he finds out that he's no longer a citizen and he has to apply, and he has to be thankful for the entire hassle of being declared illegal and then applying to be illegal, applying to be legal and then becoming legal. Yeah, thank you for making me do 7 months of work for something that was not at all required. जैसा था वैसा ठीक था, फालतू में इतना भगाया.
So Gokul is saying he's from Hyderabad. We in Tamil Nadu don't want to own him.
Jay Sadipak is from Hyderabad. I thought Gokul was from Hyderabad.
No. Jay Sai Deepak is from Hyderabad. Yeah.
No, everyone is an Indian. Let us not deny his citizenship.
So Devaditya is saying, so according to Deepu, only people who know about an issue should only protest. Seriously, nuance is not his strong suit. Yeah, man. I mean, that's what.
And also, Beer Bicep should know about the topics that he asks
Yeah.
people questions about.
There's someone who said research and Ranveer are two things which will never come together.
What's the reality of CA today in 2023?
The unfortunate reality, which is why I said that Indic interest and BJP interest overlapping is just a happy coincidence. It's not 100% overlap. The rules have not been notified till date. At the very least, to the best of my limited knowledge and decent memory, 6 extensions have been sought from the parliament to come out with the rules to implement the CA. तो आपने CA तो launch कर दिया, but आपने rules के बारे में सोचा ही नहीं था.
Good point.
My question is, तो तैयारी किस level की है? What is the level of your preparation? And in the process, the entire country is discussing an issue which the government has not shown the interest to implement yet.
Maybe because of the backlash it got.
In which case, I would then say, what strong government? Farm protest rolled back.
Also a very good point.
CA, you haven't done this. Khalistani movement has been normalized. And someone managed to take out a tractor parade on the 26th of January, right? The tricolor was pulled off. All of this has happened. Punjab is again looking at a situation where it may not be exactly the 1980s, but it seems like it is hurtling towards it.
See, again, that's what I'm saying. Right? So, Vimo, you went good point, but he extended it to basically that farm protest where he's like, the government should have shut it down.
No, I am thinking that he has a disagreement with the BJP dispensation, and I have a problem with the BJP dispensation. We might have it for different reasons, but the point about this not being a strong government is correct. I think it's not a strong government for other reasons. He thinks it's not a strong government for other reasons. That's what I was pointing out.
But he extended it to Khalistan, which is like essentially Punjab is going back to
Yeah,
the 80s.
and
stuff.
conveniently forgot to mention that 700 farmers died during the protest that lasted for more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Then I have to say, what strong government? This is exactly where my disagreements come and my criticisms come. So the good part is that I'm not part of a choir which is constantly singing in praise of anyone.
That's true.
I'm clearly saying give credit where it's due,
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
but also disagree and point out the mistakes.
Okay. Cool.
That is, by the way,
heard,
pause.
And
That bit of advice, every right winger should take.
Yes. Yes.
Everyone take it.
Yeah.
You're allowed to be in support of a government or a political party, but the moment you say that they can do no wrong, you have lost it. You have lost the battle for your own interests.
And also like he's just essentially talking about being anti-establishment in his own way. He's also like saying that I'm nobody's cheerleader.
Yeah.
It's the same. Like all three of
Yeah,
us are
same here,
also the
same here,
same, right? You know, which is like we are nobody's cheerleaders.
If
Right?
he's a lawyer who was fighting against 66A, which was this draconian internet censorship law brought by the Congress, by the way, drafted by Kapil Sibal apparently, if I'm remembering correctly,
Yeah.
then more power to him. I hope he does the same when this government does the same.
Right? It's not as if I need trouble for me to thrive.
You're saying the media has fueled these Hindutva
So,
fear narratives.
I'm
which
sorry I'm
Muslims, Christians, and
interrupting
minorities
during
have
Yeah,
the
go on.
question. We
Yeah.
can play it again.
Right.
But I have a qualm here. Now, this is not about the content of what is being talked about, but I recently have been producing, and editing podcasts. I would never put the camera on the person who's not talking. What are they doing?
I like.
Till now, Beer Biceps was not talking. He was the only person on camera. What's happening? At least show the white shot where you see both
Pranav,
people.
you're forgetting one thing. Beer Biceps was doing a very important thing that only he can do. Nodding.
Yeah, and they wanted to show him. Listen, guys, I got a lot of shots for my Fluffoganda videos from this clip, okay? Where
Okay.
because they were not showing Jay Sai Deepak and they were just showing him doing like all the time. I was like, hey, this is nice compilation. I got a compilation out of this.
You're saying the media has fueled these Hindutva fear narratives, which Muslims and Christians and minorities have adopted. Therefore, there's a lack of peace.
Media is just one convenient punching bag. I significantly blame and squarely blame the left.
This part.
Okay, which is all the people you meet at parties, college kids.
The academics, the Marxists, specifically the Marxists, their historiography and their alignment of interests has always been with the worst of examples from the non-Hindu communities, not with the good examples. The left never celebrated Dr. Kalam as long as he was alive.
What
The left till date does not celebrate Sri K.K. Mohammed
So-
because
so
he was clear
that's a
about
lie.
the possession of Ram Janmabhoomi.
That's a lie. That's a brazen lie. The left never celebrated Dr. Kalam is a lie. That's all that needs to be said about it.
Beer Biceps kept saying this, right? Which is whenever he said the problem is the left, right? And he's like, oh yeah, all those people who go to parties, no?
I think he might be
not
he
know
might be
what
confusing it with some memory of a party that he once went to where some people were left after the party ended. I don't know what he means by people who go to parties are left. Did he mean leftovers?
So Jay Sai Deepak says the problem is the left and Marx. And then like he's like, oh yeah, the people who go to parties, no, those elite people, English speaking people. And the first time he said it was when he was like, oh yeah, I go to parties and they're like, oh, you're a right winger, and those are the people you're talking about. No,
Yeah, so he might be confusing with urban liberals, right?
I think so. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
don't think he has an exposure to anybody else other than that, right?
Yeah, he has no exposure to anything other than
Yeah.
a mirror.
I was just thinking, let's try being fair to him.
Yeah.
Let's try and take the most fair interpretation of whatever he said.
Go on.
So, does he mean political party?
I think in Beer Biceps' head, he has no clue what a left and a right is. But basically, because people call him right and they say that I don't like what you do, he's like, oh, to ye left hai fir. So I think his whole thing is that if people are criticizing me, they are left wing and they are basically in one category. And then they are like also like popular narrative, right? Which is, oh, all these English speaking elite people who go to parties are left.
Does this mean nobody invites Beer Biceps to parties?
I don't think so. I've heard he's not very good at it. So
Not very good at what? Parties?
parties and socializing. So
Oh, then he has my sympathies, man, even I'm not.
so that's Jay Sai Deepak for you guys. Overall, what did you think?
I get requests often to talk about him on my channel also, but things he talks about and his domain also kind of doesn't really overlap that much with
Yeah.
what I do. So I don't really have too many comments on him. Even in this video, I'm not sure anything I know about him or my views on him, any change happened anywhere there.
I mean, you were वैसे भी neutral, right? You didn't know
Yeah.
much about him, so
I wouldn't say neutral. I don't agree with any of what he says, any of what I've heard him saying. So, yeah, that doesn't make me neutral. But I'm a little more apathetic about him. Like, I don't really care.
Just wait till Jay Sai Deepak tells you his opinion about Ayurveda.
Oh, I've not heard that.
Even I haven't because he hasn't.
he hasn't. So
I think that if I ever met the man, we might actually agree on certain surface level points. But I find that a whole lot of things that he presents as his advocacy for the Indic way of life or something is just purely subjective personal opinion. There is like the things he's talking about. If he managed to present a clear definition of them, like this is what the Indic way of life looks like. But one of my criticisms against something I saw of him some time ago was that he was saying ki decolonialize India. The idea that if you remove colonial influences, you'll be left with some pure Hindu thing is in itself very suspect, because Indian culture is not just Hindu, it's tribal,
Yes.
it's in large part Muslim, it's Parsi, it's Jewish, it's a whole lot of things, including Dravidian culture, which he's not a huge fan of. So just you remove Western influence, it does not automatically become purely Hindu. The civilization game is quite complicated, and I think he oversimplifies it to a great degree.
I actually kind of agree with you, Vimo. I was thinking, what will happen if I meet him? I think I'll also end up having a good conversation with him, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. I agree.
Seems like a reasonable person who will be open to arguments.
Anyone who's saying, yeah, I'm a BJP supporter, I'm willing to criticize the BJP, is someone we can talk to.
Yeah, exactly. And that is appreciated. Like he said that he's nobody's cheerleader, and he did sort of criticize the BJP. But then, like, of course, he also excused them for a lot of things, like, extrajudicial killings and other things like, CAA NRC. Oh, what did they do? They do nothing. Like, there is no data to prove that they are anti-minority. All of these things are also count as supporting the current establishment.
I would like to add one thing, which is that this is a Jay Saideepak video, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it is on the Beer Biceps podcast, where the standards of conversation are so low that the guests don't even come with any preparation. I was wondering
That's
if there are other videos out there of him making a stronger case with data, actually, which he started out with. Beer Biceps podcast is a place where you can just get away with saying anything, because you know he's not going to ask you anything back.